Hi everybody, it's Annette with the Art of Intuition, and today we're going to talk about signs when you are raising your consciousness. This is a fun one. How do we know when we're starting to raise our consciousness? Here are some of the biggest signs to kind of give you the little tip off. A little wink and a smile that you're starting to expand your consciousness, which is, I don't want to say the start of the journey, but in a way it kind of is. First curiosity, then you'll start to see the expansion. One, your dream state is going to start being very active. You'll start seeing a lot of different things. A lot of people, well, I already said you always dream the future in a way, even though there's really no time. You kind of dream things in a higher vibration than you're currently in, because when you're sleeping you expand out and can see more. You're going to find you're going to have a very active dream state. I'm going to say that and then I'm going to flip it, because there is kind of a flip side to that. But I do feel like in the beginning you do find yourself opening more in the sleep state than in the wake state. You're going to have some clues in the waking state, but the sleep state is where you're really going to start to see things. You'll start to see things come into focus that you maybe didn't think were possible. You start seeing things you want to accomplish. You'll start seeing, maybe get visits from other people. Maybe people that are no longer in your reality, and you'll start to kind of just see that there's so much more going on than we're aware of. Now that's going on in our waking state too, but normally when we're first starting to expand, and there's really no start and stop, but you have to use words in some capacity, but when you first start noticing it, maybe that's a better way to say it, your dream state will get more active. Now when you're in deep clearings, and deep template wipes, you won't be dreaming at all. So there will be times when you kind of stop and start, but I do feel like in the beginning you're going to start to see a lot more, because that's where you first activate the higher consciousness, is in your dream state, because you're not quite expanded enough in your waking state. And then eventually the two, there's no difference. They're just as real. Anytime I dream something, I know it's just as real. You could have a craving for dark chocolate. Dark chocolate activates the pituitary gland. It starts kind of decalcifying that area, so you're going to start to maybe crave, actually you're going to crave a lot of different foods. Dark chocolate is one of them, sometimes salty foods. Depending on what level of consciousness you're trying to activate, you're going to crave a lot of different things. Sometimes potato chips, popcorn, chocolate. I feel like some days I live on potato chips and dark chocolate. That's like the staple of my diet sometimes. So just get over the judgment of the food, and you'll figure out that some things you're going to want, some things you're not going to want. Now, meat, I myself don't eat meat. I stopped eating meat a few years ago, because eventually your consciousness comes to a place where you don't want it. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to miss it. You just don't want it anymore. So you'll probably start to find that you're weaning off of meat, or you just don't have a desire for it because you don't like the energy of the meat. So don't judge where you are with it, just notice it. These are all things you can notice. Try not to judge it, just notice it. Maybe you don't want it. You might get to a phase where you kind of do again, and then you don't again. So just kind of keep track of it. You're cleaning your house. When your consciousness expands, it cannot do clutter. It cannot do clutter because it's trying to expand it and it can't. You might have to start moving around a lot, different spaces, different places, because if your consciousness starts jumping a lot, in a sense you're trying to move through things quicker, get things done quicker so you can get to something faster. That's when we start getting into we anchor in some of our bigger dream states. A lot of times we have to accomplish certain things before we get there, so things will start coming at us faster. Things start to speed up. The outside will start to speed up. People will come in and out, and you just feel like everything's going at hyperdrive. And that's one way you'll know that you're starting to expand, because things are moving quicker. You'll start to notice time. Time when it's fast, time when things are slow. Time will slow down, time will speed up. You'll start to look at the flow of time and see it in a different way. You'll start to see when you're around different people when time collapses. You're probably going to also start to notice situations that annoy you. People you don't want to be around anymore. Things that are old, things that don't feel fun anymore. These are all signs that you're starting to expand. And remember, that's what we're all here for. We're all going to start this process at some point. We've actually been doing it since we were born in some way. But everyone's going to be starting it. And a lot of times I'll talk to people who are kind of in the middle of it, kind of just starting it, kind of not really sure. And you also start attracting people. Because remember, everyone's an aspect of you. So if you start attracting people that are talking more about intuition, dreaming, different stages of consciousness, different things you can do, different possibilities, that's showing you're expanding out and you're triggering something in your field to attract these aspects of you because you're interested. Usually when I go out, I'll talk to people who are, some are interested, some are just a little curious, but they always sit next to me for a reason. I feel like everyone who sits next to me has a reason to sit next to me. If they weren't in that phase, they wouldn't even sit next to me. They actually wouldn't even see me. You'll also start to go through a phase where some people don't even see you at all because you're not in the vibrational alignment of where they are anymore. You're in a different space, so people don't see you. It's quite funny how these things start to work. You'll also notice things just start popping out at you. You might feel like you're a little more in tune through telepathy. You might start feeling that you're picking up on things you normally didn't pick up on. You might see your words are changing. You have trouble saying certain words because you don't like the vibration of the words anymore. Your vocabulary gets harder. It's harder to speak. You'll start stumbling over your words because you really have to learn to speak all over again because you start noticing the weight of the words you're saying. Okay, everybody. Just some tips to let you know when you are expanding big time. I wish everyone the most expansive realities and keep practicing the art of intuition.